All right, we're going to start with a fun one.
Okay.
This I haven't done with anybody.
Oh.
We're going to do a speed round
Mm-hmm.
of TV and film hair makeup terms. And you have to tell us what they mean.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
No pressure.
Mm.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, do I win money? Okay.
Yes. Mua.
Makeup artist.
HMU.
Hair makeup.
Moho.
It's the motorhomes that we work out of.
Last looks.
Something the AD will maybe call for you to come in and do last looks, last touches if they need shine control or things like that.
A honey wagon.
Where everyone goes potty.
Hotspot.
Wi-Fi. Or if you have a hotspot on your face due to the lights, if you're sans hair,
you get more. You get a big one.
Yeah.
Spirit gum.
It's an adhesive we use in special effects.
Points.
Someone's coming through with something pointy, camera, tripods, everything.
Tear blower.
It's to help people cry.
Are you good at that?
I'm very good at that.
Welcome to Propellant Minnesota. I'm Matt Osterman, filmmaker and entrepreneur. This is a podcast where we talk to cool Minnesotans doing really interesting things, and today's guest is no different. We're talking with April Garland. April is a department head for makeup in the film and television industry, and we talk with her about her very first job on Indiana Jones, all the way through to working on local independents here in the state today. She's a wealth of knowledge on that front, and she's a business owner herself. She owns a trailer rental company renting production trailers to films and TV shows of all sizes across the state. I had a blast talking with her, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. What was your first job?
I went to school in LA at the Westmore Academy, and we would have little things going on there. But my first one was Indiana Jones. My first real full production. And that was a crazy and good experience. I was only with them for just a part of their leg. And so, from that moment on, I just kind of thought, okay, I have to find a way to do more of this, and figuring out and navigating it really kind of on my own at first. I didn't know anything. And I think it was just like the right place, right time situation where I just kept meeting really wonderful people that kept taking me with them. And 23, 24 years later, here we are.
Crazy. So on that Indiana Jones experience, that's a machine, right? Was that intimidating, or were you like, Hollywood, here I come?
I laugh at myself now at the, naiveness of my thought process. I knew they were filming at a specific college, and I got my little kit. And I went down to the gate because I thought, I'm just going to go and see what's what. I didn't know anything like that, really. And it was just complete serendipitous that department had a few of her artists didn't show up that day or whatever happened. And she was like, yeah, I can use somebody. So, and they were so kind. And they just kept asking me back day after day, and I stayed for like a week.
That's amazing. Were you doing a lot of background stuff, or what?
Yep, background stuff.
Which is like background actors.
Yeah,
right?
Which there were thousands of. So I think that there were 17 of us total. It's a lot. But I still felt very much a part of everything. They were very inclusive, and it was just really nice. They never made me feel like I was a nerd for showing up at the gate with my kid.
I mean, I think it's true, in this industry, but a lot of industries too, you have to be naive. Because if you knew everything, you might not want to do it.
No.
Right? Or you don't ask the stupid questions. You don't.
Right.
You kind of have to be a little bit young and stupid to want to get into it.
Yeah, and I think that's our work ethic develops that way, and we developed sometimes unhealthy work ethic, but it's because you see what your work brings you. And if you're, when you're passionate about something, you kind of look the other way about, okay, I'm on hour 20, but I'm having the best time, you know? So it's a weird trade-off we make. And then as you get deeper into it, you realize, wait, this is a little much.
Yeah.
But you still love it.
Yeah. I mean, you build these micro families, right? Kind of gypsies.
You really do.
In a way.
Yeah.
And sometimes you move project to project. Some people come with you. It's a whole new crew. Sometimes you don't know anybody.
Sometimes you see them once, you never see them again. And then 7 years later, you're like, wait, I know your face. Oh, yeah, we spent all those months together, you know?
Yeah. Had 3 a.m. conversations about the most intimate of things, yet, Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
And I love it.
Yeah, it's special. Yeah, cool. Getting into some of the more specifics, how do you approach creating a look for somebody that's going to appear on camera, whether that's natural or, getting crazy in a horror thing? Like, what's the approach there?
Kind of a lot goes into it. You read, and break down the script, and then I kind of go back and focus on each character. I like to see who they've cast, if they've cast anyone yet. And then I really like to talk to them. Some people, it gets kind of technical. Some people can't handle a lot of makeup on their face, or it just doesn't look good. Or, I start kind of before we start filming, talking to them about, their skin and their face. And then I kind of base it off of that, but I really dive deep into the character with them too, to see, how do you see this character? Is she disheveled? Is she put together? Is she a homebody? I ask a lot of questions.
Do you feel like a lot of that collaboration, is it more with the actor or more with the director, or depends on every project?
It's both. I approach it depending on who the director is. Sometimes they'll have a lot of notes for you, or they'll tell you right out of the gate, when you talk and you meet, this is kind of how I see this character. But I do like to talk with the actor too, because the actor and director, the talent, they talk and decide, obviously this is how I see it, so it's kind of a meeting of all the minds. And I usually do a lot of design work, and I'm showing them the whole time, and it's really a collaborative. Filmmaking is a true, as you know, full collaborative. Every single department, sometimes I have to talk to props and wardrobe, and you have to lighting and all of those things, and it's a true collaborative to bring that project to life.
Yeah, and exteriors versus interiors.
Yeah.
What's the weather like?
Yeah.
Every day is different.
Yeah, we're going to be filming outside in the winter, but they have to look warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And 14 zombies.
Right.
And you have 2 people to,
You have one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just changes every project is,
That's kind of the fun part. You don't get bored.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. You do a lot of effects makeup too, and blood gags and just kind of everything.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of got you into that? Was that necessity, or is that something you've always kind of been drawn into?
I wasn't really into it until I went to school at the Westmore Academy. We had like a small little course we could take just to see if we like it or not. And it's like a week long, and I was like, this is a really like extra creative part of my department, and I want to learn it. And I just was really passionate about it. So I stayed longer, and I took more. And then I took some more, and I just kept doing it. And then I worked in that instructor's shop for a little while, and he really taught me a lot. So yeah, I'm not really, I don't like scary movies. I mean, I like them, but maybe first thing in the morning, not in the dark. I'm really just like, I don't like haunted houses. I get scared very easily. So it's an unlikely thing for me to like, but I love making it. I love creating it.
It's a lot more like science and engineering.
It really is.
Chemistry.
Yes, so much chemistry. I mean, mixing things properly, and temperature. Temperature is a huge thing. So I just like all of that. It gives me a whole different side of, the beauty world where I get to create things.
Well, and I would imagine, you tell me, but living and working in a small to medium-sized market gives you some versatility.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Where you can come on and you can do a lot more than just
Yeah.
beauty, right?
We do medical effects a lot. We do all kinds of things. It's not always the gross and gruesome. It's lots of other things too. And yeah, it gives me a break kind of from, if I'm doing a long stretch of like corporate stuff too, that's just a lot of powder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it keeps my creativity in the front.
And it gets you, I mean, tell us too, it gets you on set more,
Mhm.
probably, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of the makeups are done,
Yep.
in a wagon,
Yep.
essentially, right?
Yep.
And this, when there's practical stuff, you
Mhm.
have to be on set, and you're in the
Got to
trenches.
be there. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Which can be a blessing or a curse,
Yeah.
depending on the day.
Yeah.
Been there. How has any advances in technology kind of affected your art? Are things have they been the same for the last 20 years, or have you seen a movement?
They're always changing. But you'll find some artists really they like what they like because it works for them. And some like to know about all the new things and try it out. And scanning is a huge thing for it. 3D printing. I mean, the way we can make molds now or take photos of things and that's really enhanced. And that's something that I want to get more into and learn more about. I think it would shave off a lot of time. But it's really dependent on the effects artist. It really depends because some like to stay, old school and with what they know. And if it works for them, they're not going to change it because effects is so finicky.
And when you have 70 people looking at you, right, you have to perform
it's a lot of pressure.
Right.
When you have an effects, when you have, whether it's a creature or an application of a prosthetic, any of those things, tattoos, everyone is going to see your work. You don't really think about the audience and everyone seeing your work, but it's your coworkers. They're there with you on that day and they're looking to you to make it look good and nail it. And it's really a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, but it feels amazing when it works and it goes off without a hitch. That's the best feeling. But
yeah. Well, it's definitely an underappreciated, art
Yeah.
and profession. You're expected to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think you guys deserve a lot more credit.
Thank you.
Yeah. What is like a typical day look like for a makeup department head?
Well, what day are we talking about? Day 1 on set, day 50?
I mean, give us the day one.
If it's a feature, day 1 is a lot of just organization. Normally by then you've loaded into whatever room or trailer that you're going to be in. You have your departments set out. We have to make character bags and daily things like that.
What are character bags?
Character bags are, so if I have 8 playing characters, they have individual bags. It has all of their makeup that we've used on them for the day for touch-ups. Continuity is a huge thing in my department.
We explain continuity. I'm asking for these
continuity.
definitions because a lot of people I don't think know what these things are.
Continuity is, so if we shoot Sally on day 1 in a purple shirt with a ponytail and pink lipstick, we might shoot that the first day. But maybe on shoot day 9, we're going back to that day and we have to match it. So you have to be able to match the looks you create. So we have face charts and we take a lot of pictures and we keep track in their bags, their character bags. We make individual palettes. This is how I do it. Every artist does it different. But their bags are labeled and it has all their personal things in it too. So if I put certain things in there for them and it is strictly for them. And it also is great on set. I can hold their personal items if they need and they know that their bag is there. I always ask them, what are things you love to have in your character bag? And I make sure I stock it. So it's organizing all of that, shopping for all of that, making sure you have enough for the duration of the show you're on, all the while managing a budget and your employees, your assistants, all that. So typically day 1 is where it kind of all comes together and you see if you've done it right. And And it's always, you forget little things here and there, but that's really what it is. And then by, the third day, you're kind of like, okay, I see how it's going to go. Because again, every production is different. It might be super organized. It might be extremely unorganized, might be in the middle.
Right. I've noticed on sets that usually talent and hair and makeup have some of the closest relationships. You get to play best friend, confidant, therapist. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that relationship that you have with the talent, because you spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time with them, but you're less than a foot from each other a lot of the times. I'm the first person they see in the morning. They spend time with me. I'm the last person they see at the end of the day. And then I'm in their face all day. So you want to make sure that you can try to establish a rapport and, kind of grow a relationship with them while you're with them. You need to make sure that you're a safe space for them and that you advocate. A lot of times we have to advocate. And, they're juggling so much and they have to be on camera, which is a lot of pressure, and remembering all their lines and all those things. So whatever I can do to make the outside stuff easier for them, that's what I'm supposed to do. So, and sometimes, it can take a lot of energy from you, depending on the talent. Some talent can be a little difficult, and some I'll have lifelong friends with some of the talent I've worked with. Just depends.
Yeah. My mom, she's retired now, but was a dental hygienist. So she would have people come in, sit in the chair, lean back, and just got all the juiciest gossip out of them.
Yeah.
She'd be like, hey, Matt, I heard you went out to, senior lunch with so-and-so today. I'm like, that was 3 hours ago and you were at work. How do you know this? I'd imagine you get a lot of that.
A lot. I am a steel trap for the most part. And yeah, you get to know a lot about their personal life. Especially if they have stuff going on. They're going to come in the morning and they're going to just spill it on you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of talent flies in too, right? And so they don't know anybody.
Nope.
So you're their new best friend. And
I'm their tour guide. I am their best friend. Yeah, it's a lot. You definitely have to know how to have boundaries really well, and how to enforce them and use them, because they will call you in the night. They will call you at 4 a.m. crying, and that's okay. It just depends on who it is and the talent and
Yeah.
It's a case by case basis.
So in the film world, are makeup artists born or are they created? Because that sounds like that's if you don't have the right personality for that, that's going to be.
And some people don't. I'll be super honest. There are some people that are just not cut out for that. And not everyone in the makeup department works on, the call sheet is numbered, talent is numbered, and specific makeup artists work on the talent. And then others, they watch set, they work on extras. So you'll either make it to department head and be successful if you've developed all those kind of skills along the way. Not everybody does. Some people are perfectly content never department heading, never being a key. They're okay assisting, and that's where they like to stay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So yeah. So
how can a filmmaker best work with the makeup team?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
Or maybe tell us the wrong way to work with the
there's a million wrong ways. I think for me, in my own personal process of working with a filmmaker, is my goal is to get whatever is in their brain into mine visually, because we all see things. We're all creatives, right? So we see things in our mind and we create it. Sometimes what I may see from reading a script might not be what they see. So I think being able to ask the right questions, articulate, and the biggest one is being honest about what you can produce. Some of them come in not realizing how much work it takes to create some things, and you are responsible to manage their expectations of that, because I can't make a creature in 2 days.
Right.
That's a couple months.
We need prosthetic limbs.
Right.
Yep.
I can't make it robotic in a day.
Yeah.
I just, so knowing the right questions to ask, managing expectations, and just having open, often communication. Again, not everyone knows how to communicate everywhere, but in our industry, they also have a ton on their mind. You're not the only department they have to consult with. You're not the only person they talk to all day, so.
Yeah. One of my favorite responses that I have on set is, I don't know, let's figure it out.
Yep.
Because if I make something up, right,
Yeah.
on the spot, because oftentimes, I'm asked like, hey, how do you want me to do this?
Right.
Across every department.
Yeah.
I could make something up and 50-50 that it's the right choice.
Right.
But usually I haven't thought about it because there's a million different things to think about. Are you okay when somebody comes to you and says, I'm not really sure? Can you give me some ideas?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way it's going to happen. I mean, if they come to me, same with me, if they come to me and they really want something, but I know that I probably, don't have the time or the resources to produce it or create it, we're going to talk about what our options are, and so, and sometimes it's a no. Sometimes it's an honest, I would love to do that. I would love to take that on. I just can't.
Not realistic.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
So
happens.
It happens.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face in your field? And maybe broadly or specifically here in the Twin Cities, Minnesota?
Challenging. I mean, when you work in the film industry, you kind of, when a job is ending, we all have the same thought, especially if you're in a smaller market. A, never going to work again. B, if you don't have anything lined up, I'm never going to work again. There's a lot of unknowns, and you have to be okay with the unknowns. It takes a very specific kind of person to work in this industry or in this town and be able to manage that and be able to know that the work is always going to come. If you keep working the way you're working and you keep doing what you're doing, for the most part, work will come.
Yeah.
But it's challenging. It's challenging having a smaller market with so many different people in it. We're all starving for work. We're all have the same goal, and it can get a little intense out there. So that's a challenge for sure. The other challenge is trying to get everyone on the same page and working together and uplifting one another. That's a challenge. And it's you have to have gumption. You just have to.
Yeah. Grit. Yeah. Do you're now at the point in your career where people come to you. I'm sure there's ebbs and flows, of course. Have you had to, I'm sure, take on jobs? You're like, I don't know if I should be saying yes to this, but calendar looks pretty empty right now. And I'm sure some of those worked out just well. Others, lesson learned.
What have I done?
Yeah.
I was just having this conversation the other day with somebody that's a little newer, and they're wondering if they should take a job or not. And it's with, a company that is known for a few things. It's out of town, and I know that they should say no. Because if we continue to say yes to incompetent production companies or ones that don't value us, don't pay us on time or in a timely manner, or abuse us while we're on set, if we continue to say yes, you're just fueling them. They're just going to continue to have that, but you're enabling their poor behavior. So, but this person is in a predicament because they really need money. We've gone through a strike, so they're having to weigh that for themselves. So, that's a really tricky decision. And yeah, I've had to say yes to something that I knew was probably going to be a nightmare. And I was right. But you have to do what you have to do sometimes. So it's such a hard decision. I'm at the point now where I can be a little more discerning and I can say no. But also I like to tell people that are starting out that some of those, you have to go through some of those things, unfortunately. You have to go through those periods of wow, that was a really crappy job, or I had a really shitty time on that, you're going to go through it.
Yeah.
But it is either going to make you stronger and make you smarter to know that maybe next time you say no, or you say yes with boundaries. That's the other thing. It's okay to set boundaries with the companies you're working for. If you don't speak up, if you don't ask for what you need or want, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And you can't complain.
Yeah. Who do you speak up to?
It really depends.
Every production is different, right? Who's running the
Sometimes,
show?
the UPM, or it depends on what the issue is. I'll say that. If it's money, that's a specific person. If it's, timing of your department, they want you to have them out in 4 minutes and you just got there, that's a different department, so it depends on what the issue is.
Yeah. Keeping things as anonymous as possible. Do you remember like a nightmare scenario that you had where everything just kind of didn't work? You want to tell us?
I had a talent that was just extremely difficult with me, wanted all of my time and attention on and off set, kind of imprinted themselves upon me while I was department heading. So that's really hard. Typically you aren't, if you're a personal for, a talent, you typically aren't department heading. It's hard to do both. But this person demanded that I do both and did that a couple days before we started filming. So it's really difficult to manage that. I would go to their house in the morning. I would go to set with them. I would go to their house after work. I may as well just live with them. And
you have a family and a life.
I have a family. I have a life. When you're filming, your home life kind of stops, and you have to have a really good support system around you. And not everyone has that. So yeah, it takes a lot of time. And then on set, really demanding, it's hard. You kind of let people talk to you in a way that you probably wouldn't let your friends talk to you like that. You let people get away with more. And that's something that's been really hard for me to evolve out of. I don't typically let people do that anymore, because why? Why are we doing that? Everyone's been through, at this point in 2023, a little bit of stuff. You can be nice. You can say whatever you need to say, but you can be nice and respectful. And we deserve that. We work really hard to make people's dreams come true. All of us, we work so hard. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was really difficult. It made the production really difficult. By the end of it, I took a very long break. And it broke me a little bit. I really thought that I didn't want to do feature film work anymore. I was like, I'm good with corporate, commercial, anything,
Yeah.
But I love making films. I love
tell us,
features.
has there been like a dream scenario or something that, stands out as, and this one you don't have to be anonymous because it's only,
right.
Yeah. Anything that stands out to you that was like, holy cow, this was great.
A little while ago, I got a call to work on a tiny little project in Iowa. I've never been to Iowa. I'm from the East Coast. I don't know what's out there. And it was only a week long. It was a quick little thing. It was during the strikes. They were given permission to do it.
Is it a feature?
Yep. Well, so their feature, they made the short first, but the feature, and then it had to stop because of the strikes. So, but they were given permission to make this short, and I think they were going to use it to maybe fundraise a little bit more and things like that. And it was one of those scenarios where I was like, this could go really bad or really good, So I drove out there. I met them. We were staying in these dorms. I was like, oh boy. Mm-hmm. I think I had the best time I've ever had. Everyone was so kind, so wonderful. I never expected that. I've worked on everything from real tiny to real big, everything in between. And I've had many great experiences. But for some reason, I don't know why, but we worked hard. It was long, long days, a lot of work, a lot of rushing. You're trying to fit something in a short amount of time, stay within their budget, stay within everything that they need to do. And we did it. And everyone did it safely and kindly while having fun. I met amazing people that don't live anywhere around here, but we'll see each other again all the time. I just was so surprised and grateful for that. And I just loved every minute of that project.
Where did that start, you think? Why was that such a great experience? Was that, the leadership was just chill, or was it just kind of everybody just
they had to get a lot of their family involved and people and just helping out. Sometimes those things can be a touch of a nightmare because you're dealing with family dynamic, you're dealing with, but everyone and the talent that was coming in and out, it was organized. I think that was the number one thing. They were
big thing,
huge thing, huge to be organized. And a huge thing for me is I don't care what your budget is. It could be $100,000, it could be $10,000, or it could be $20 million. The money doesn't matter when it comes to organization. And yes, properly staffed departments will affect that. But for the most part, I don't care about your budget. I care about how organized are you? Do you have everything together that, we need, I need, you need? And they had that. They were very organized. They were thoughtful and caring. They thought about us. They cared if we had enough food and water. They cared if we had, bug spray, sunscreen. Like, they cared about those things. They didn't have a big budget, but they made it work, and they took care of it. They took care of us.
It's not complicated.
It's not complicated, but it's something that doesn't always happen. We're not always taken care of. We're out there and, pouring rain, wind, and there's no tents. Like, sometimes you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then other times on a little thing like that, it shows you if you put in the time and you really organize it, it could be a great experience while having a tough time,
Yeah.
But it was great. And I hope that they make the feature and that,
And when they call, you'll pick up on the
I will be right there.
Yeah. Life is too short.
Yeah.
To not work with people.
No.
Yeah. Be kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was Iowa. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges and opportunities of, I guess, the Midwest and Minnesota, kind of maybe in a broader sense in the film industry and kind of what's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, we're a smaller community, but we're mighty. We have a lot of really amazing, great, talented crew member. The crew base here is awesome. There's just not a ton of us, so we need more. So we need to be pouring in to new and younger people. We need to be uplifting them. We need to be helping them find training or providing training, giving them resources. You shouldn't be gatekeeping your department. You should be educating people on the proper way to move up in those departments. A lot of times here, I feel like people do things one time and they're like, great, I'm a department head. And it's just because somebody needs to take them under their wing and just kind of explain the order of things. Because when you let people figure it out for themselves, they're going to. Especially if they're ambitious and passionate, they're gonna figure it out on their own, and it might not be the complete and proper way. And so, it can end up being a toxic environment where now you're upset at this person and they're trying to take my job, and your perception of that is crowding the actual reality of it, and so that can be a challenge here. We need work. We want to work. And when work comes, you want to be a part of it. We have a lot of FOMO here in this town. A lot of FOMO. So if you see someone working on something and it's taken a long time for, to change your mindset to be happy for that person that they're working. If I see a coworker of mine working on something really cool, I like to call them or message them and ask them about it. Are you having a good time? That's so exciting. It's so cool. I want to cheer them on. I want to be pumped for you. You're probably pumped you're on it, and who knows if other people in your department are doing that. They're probably not.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up here. I didn't start my career here. I came in, it was made really hard for me to make my place in this town. And I never want to do that to another person. I want to welcome them. I want to work with them. I want to help. How can I help? That's really what it is for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about some of the opportunities that we think might present themselves in our area. What's your take on that?
I'm hopeful. I think now that we have a good incentive and we have some great parameters around it, and we all worked so hard to get it.
I know you were pretty active.
Yeah, it's just, I think it can only help us. But with that being said, if we get like one big project, it might take a lot of the crew. It's going to take a lot of the crew. And what if another project comes at the same time? So I think right now is the time to really start advocating for people to learn what they want to learn, in what department they want to be in, and creating workshops, education, all these things that we can do to pour into people and get them to the level that they need to be at to work on some of these things that may come here. That's super important. I'm a member of our union, Local 490. I want to grow that membership base. I think we need more people. We need to grow it to be bigger so that when productions do come here, they can say, oh, they have a great, strong, solid, larger crew base, and we can absolutely bring our project there.
How do we do that? How do we build people?
I don't know, Matt. I don't know. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but we can have membership drives and see how many qualified people we have in town, get them, in. A lot of times bigger budgeted projects, not all the time, but a lot of them are going to be union, and it's important that a production company can come into town and have faith that we've properly vetted everyone that is on that roster, and that they can hire from that roster confidently. So I really want to work on that, and I really want us to grow as a community. I think there needs to be more put out about what workshops we do offer, and there's all kinds all around town all the time. There's several organizations that have them. We have a lot of great film groups here. So depending on where you're at in your career, having access to those resources is huge, and I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, those resources are out there. It's just not always.
Where do people find them?
Right. Yeah, that is something we have to work on.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, like, we're here now, we just need more conversations happening, more people.
Yes.
Cross collaborating.
Yeah.
And I know the state too. That giant sucking sound we've heard for the last 20 years is people leaving for the coasts.
Yeah.
Because there was more.
People
work.
leave all the time.
Right. And if that turns around, maybe some of those people, they don't want to pay their $4,000 mortgage.
No.
It's our standard of living here is pretty great.
It's pretty great.
So maybe some of those folks will come back too.
And people leave and come back all the time, I think that's the great thing about Minnesota is having lived and worked in other markets, it's nice to come back. We are friends here. We work with each other all the time. When you're in LA, yes, you might travel around with the same few crew or your department anyway, but I get to see friends that I've made working here at work all the time. How cool is that? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that I go to work and I'm just excited to see my friends and coworkers. That's really cool. When you work in a bigger market, that's not always the case. Sometimes everyone is a stranger every time. So I think that's something special we have here. We just have to get out of our own way a little bit. And it could be really awesome.
Yeah, agreed. So you started a new company, Wheels Up, a few years back now, right? What is it, and what are you trying to do?
We have production trailers. We have a hair and makeup one, obviously. We have a wardrobe with a couple hair and makeup stations and a bathroom in it. We have a couple of motorhomes. We've got a honey wagon. We've got production offices, a couple trucks. So, and yeah, I mean, we again, if a big production comes here, then we need those. And we have a couple other companies in town, and I want all of us to get more. We're all going to be busy at some point. I confidently believe that. I know that things are going to come. So, I started it because we needed more, but it's also something I've always wanted to do. I started it with my dad. He helped me build the first one.
Was it hair and makeup the first one? That's why.
Yep. And then he passed away. And so I was like, well, I have one and I'm good. And I didn't want to do anything else with it. I was like, so, but then I was like, no, he would want me to keep building and keep going, keep growing. That was the whole purpose we did it. It's the whole purpose that, he yelled at me the whole time while he was building it. So, I just keep growing.
Yeah. Any particular challenges? Obviously, like the strikes didn't help things on that front.
The strikes are tough. When you have a company that is production based, it's tough. I have an awesome partner that is a really great out of the box thinker too. And he's helped me grow. I mean, we've grown it quicker than I was comfortable with, but it's been great. We're in events too. We do a lot of events at the stadiums. Outdoor events, all kinds of things. I mean, there was a company here doing a thing with cars, and they had it for the week. And so it's just thinking outside the box a little bit when we have a lull in work, and it happens. So, and we're not on every job. I mean, there's another company, couple companies in town, and they get the call, and that's great. Like I always want to say that there's never a time when I'm not happy for someone. Are we a little bummed that we didn't get the call? Sure. Who isn't? We're human. But I'm just happy they're using someone in Minnesota and they're not bringing it from out of town.
Yeah, but also if you keep up those good relationships, if something of theirs breaks down, you want them to pick up the phone and say,
exactly.
Hey, can you come save our bacon?
100%.
It goes both ways.
Yeah. I've done it a few times where I'm like, hey, we had a malfunction actually on a production a couple months ago. Our trailer was leaking. We had a defective unit on the roof. We didn't know. And it was absolutely torrential downpours, and that'll do it, And so, we had to pull it. And I said, hey, you can call so-and-so and they've got great ones too. They can help you. And they did. And they replaced it, and it was great. So, yeah.
There's room for everybody.
There's room for everybody. I'm going to make that into a T-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a fake tattoo.
Yeah, there's room for everybody. There really is.
What advice would you give somebody trying to enter kind of the makeup field, and specifically TV and film?
Well, makeup can get a little territorial. Keep looking for your right people. You will find your little tribe of artists. You will find the ones that are going to cheer you on and pour into you. Just keep looking. If you hit a couple walls, it's okay. Same with filmmaking. Same with getting into our industry, period. You're going to meet some jerks. You're going to meet some really difficult people.
Film and politics, they attract
the
most interest.
We have the same kind of challenges as anyone working anywhere. They just come with a different set of people. All of us are fighting to get to a goal, and everyone's goal is different. Some people want to win Oscars. Some people want to work on certain things with certain people. We all have goals. You just have to find your people. And like-minded work ethic will help you also. Just finding that tribe of people. Just keep going. Keep doing it.
Just be the person you'd want to work with.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. If you want to be surrounded by positive, uplifting people, you have to be that way. If you're like, geez, I'm really stuck in this circle of entitlement and toxicity, just take a look at yourself for a minute. It might be a little bit you. Mm-hmm. Could be your luck. I don't know.
Laws of attraction.
Yep.
Do enough jobs, you'll figure it out.
You will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You'll know. You'll smell it from the first phone call. Mm-hmm. You'll just, oh man, this might be a tricky one.
Yeah. Are there any trends you're seeing specifically in your field, or I guess in filmmaking in general? Anything that you kind of your crystal ball, or you can look around corners with?
I mean, for hair and makeup, for sure. They want you to do all of the. I mean, I should say in film work, and if you're doing a feature or a TV show, hair and makeup are two separate departments. When you're working here in this market, in like corporate or commercial, we tend to do both, but not every person does both. I have a couple people in my circle that only do hair or only do makeup, and they don't want to do both. They don't want to learn both. So, I think that that's another instance of us saying no, even though it would be great to go to work and do both and know that I could do both. It's not right for me to do that, or if they ask me to do wardrobe, it's not right for me to do that. I'm taking a job away from a coworker, a colleague, a union, brother, sister, kid, any of that. You have to know when to say no to that. That's a big trend right now. A big trend is asking more of you than what you should be doing without paying you for it. So I think now, especially for, people going back to work, and things like that, stick to your boundaries. Don't say yes because you're desperate for the work. Just think about it for a minute. And it's okay. It's okay to say no to people. It's okay.
And you can say no kindly.
You can. Too. It's really healthy. Or offer a compromise, or, it's okay to go back. Conversations are normal. And if you have the fear of they're never going to hire me again, you don't want them to. You don't want to work for those people. It's okay to say no and be at peace with that. That's another huge thing, especially here. We're afraid to say no. We're afraid to ask for, hi, I worked on your job a really long time ago. Do you think you could pay me for that? Do you think you could not have me float your project for 4 months? Like, it's okay. And guess what? If they get upset at you because you asked to be paid, you don't want to work with them again.
Yeah. There's a pretty hard line there.
Yeah.
I do know, like, when I was getting started, you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of filmmakers are often the most inexperienced person on the set because, best case scenario, I've been prolific. I've done 4. I've been on 4 sets as a director. You've been on 100, right?
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot more than I have. So I try to empower my collaborators, say, tell me, if this doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a movie for you, and I had a phenomenal time.
Oh, thank you.
You were easy to communicate with. You were concise on what you wanted and how you saw it. There's a collaborative happening there that, it was easy and it flowed. So, I mean, it really does depend on the person.
Yeah. Well, that's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm blushing. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out section. Can you give us somebody or something, person, artist, musician, restaurant, store in our great state that you feel like needs a little more attention?
I don't know. I think we just have so many great studios in town that not everyone knows about. I feel like we should have a place where when filmmakers are coming in, that they can look at all the awesome studios we have in town. We really have a lot. Yeah. We've got Acme. We've got, Cinequipped. We have so many. And we also have so many little ones. I feel like our studios deserve more spotlights on them. I mean, maybe someone should do something about, we have all this crew here, but look at all these cool vendors we have. We have a lot of vendors. I feel like a lot of our vendors need a little more spotlight.
Yeah, oftentimes you have to kind of piecemeal. When you're putting a production together, you have to.
We get asked all the time.
Yeah, you just have to talk to people.
You do.
And a wide swath of them to get the good intel. There's no central way to figure it out.
Like out-of-town coordinators. I mean, normally when an out-of-town person asks me, I point them to a coordinator I know. Because they know everyone. But it would be great to have more spotlight on all of our vendors in town.
The film board does a pretty good job
of
trying to keep their database going, but it's like static. It's not, in the film world, it's literally month to month sometimes.
It is.
Right?
It really is. So, to have have a way for people to shine a spotlight a little more on our vendors would be great. We have so many great vendors here in Minnesota. So many.
Yeah. All right. That's great. I know you're not necessarily a public personality, but if people wanted to follow you
Oh,
online,
God.
is there anything interesting that they could find? Or
I mean, I post, there's a lot of stuff I can't post, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm on social media. Our effects page isn't up and running yet, but it should be. But I post a lot of my stories. You see a lot of work on my Instagram. I don't post on Facebook very much. But yeah, I post stories all the time. You can find me there. Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody needs to rent a production trailer, where would they go for that?
WheelsUpRentals.com. You can find us there. We're also on social media. We're very active on social media. We're always posting where we are, what we're doing, what we got coming. We're working on a few exciting things, so that'll be coming out in a little bit in the future. But yeah, we try to be everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything I'm not asking? Anything that would be fun or interesting that I haven't covered?
I don't think so. I think you got it all.
No.
I think so.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me. I think it's awesome and amazing what you're doing. We need more of it. And we're just excited to see all the people you have.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.